Ashle Madiba, we honor your legacy. Today we are in Johannesburg at the Apartheid Museum. We have come here to teach our children a little bit about Madiba. We were lucky enough to have witnessed the change and to have seen this very special man come into power when we were younger. Gabby was around and so was Bali and Pierre as well, but they aren't so familiar with the changes that we have seen growing up in the country. He really is an inspirational person and he really was a good man.
So today we're going to spend our time here at the Apartheid Museum and learn a little bit more about what happened. I'm not even familiar because I was still quite young when it all happened. And I think it's a good thing for children to learn about, because if we don't learn from the past, we don't know how to fix things in the future.
I see the people on the street. I hear them ask me for some food to eat. I know it's cold when they try to sleep, wrapped in.
So this is one of the original benches from the apartheid time. I'm guessing it said white persons only. They used to divide things like that. So even if you were on a bus, it was, you know, if you were a black person, you had to sit in a different part of the bus. Or for example, on a bench, you couldn't sit on a bench that was marked for white people. Guys, look how horrible this is. They've separated the whites and the non-whites. So imagine what you must feel like if you're a non-white and you're walking in an area that's just made for you and you can't share, like, I don't know, it's so horrible. What? So I guess me and Pierre are whites and Bali's are non-whites. I mean, how can we even divide ourselves from her like that? I never knew this, but I've heard about it. I'm just looking as I've come into the museum. They've put people's identity pictures, which we all have here in South African identity book. And on the identity book, they actually class you, whether you are Indian, Chinese, Cape colored, I suppose white, black, Japanese. So it's kind of racist, I suppose. So Bali came through the black entrance and we're on the white side, and now she's separated from us. We have these like bars and stuff, and we're on the other side. So I suppose that's kind of a perfect example of how it was in apartheid, that because of your skin you were totally either treated well or poorly.
So if you guys are wondering what the word apartheid actually means, they have it written over here in the dictionary form, and it says it is a system of segregation or discrimination on the ground of race enforced in South Africa.
Ok, forse vi state chiedendo cosa vuol dire apartheid.
Allora, c'è scritto nel dizionario ed è il sistema di divisione tra le razze in Sudafrica durante gli anni 1948 e 1991.
So this is a map of Johannesburg and the suburbs, and this is how they divided up the areas, which was pretty unfair in apartheid. So they would have a separate location, and over here it's written as the native location, that people of the other race were forced to live in this area, and they would have to have a permit to enter the white areas during certain times.
This is the old flag, what my mom and dad used to have, and I didn't know it because now we have a new flag, and this is surprising for me. Questa è la bandiera vecchio di Sudafrica e io non lo sapevo perché miei genitori avevano questa bandiera. Adesso hanno una nuova bandiera che non sembra così e è molto sorpresa.
There is room for all the various races in this country.
Guys, look at this picture. At those days, many schools didn't even have desks or chairs for the students to sit on, so students had to work on the floor.
Guardate come in questa foto i più scuri non avevano, i bambini più scuri non potevano neanche scrivere sui Boh, anch'io niente.
So guys, like a little bit of a personal experience with that image above there is that when I was young, and most of my young friends, we were all sort of raised by these housekeepers that would come into our homes, cook for us, and look after the children while parents went out to work. And it's quite strange that a nation that was so segregated from the rest of us and was treated so badly, they were put almost in charge of looking after you know, these little white children all over the country. It still happens today, and it is a good form of income. It is a job, so I'm not saying anything about the job. I'm just saying it's quite strange, because I grew up with a few housekeepers that cared for me, and they would carry me on the back just like this picture. It's something quite unique, I think, to the culture. So this vehicle, it's called a Casper, and it was used by the police, the South African police and the military at the time. And it's what they used against the people inside the communities to quell any riots or any sort of disturbances. I used to have a model of this thing and play around with it. It was one of my favorite toys. But now just looking at it and thinking about, you know, what it was actually used in, it kind of destroys the whole fascination for the little toy I had. But let me show it to you. It's quite a beast if you look at it. It's almost indestructible. It has tubeless tires, so it can go over any sort of obstacle and not get a flat tire. It's got bulletproof windows, and it has these things over here that help, these flip down, and then the police or the military can stick out their guns and fire and shoot. Also the design, it's got like a V design at the bottom, and that helped it in a whole variety of different ways to go over obstacles. Okay, let me take you inside. Oh, quite a beast to get up into. You can see this one is even, that looks like almost like bullet marks or something. But the top lifts out as well, where they can sort of see the people. It's quite an amazing vehicle that was designed, and obviously at the time it served its purpose. Unfortunately, not for the very best reasons, and probably to the detriment and pain of a lot of innocent people. So guys, through a variety of sanctions from different countries, your countries, all of you that stood up for something that you believed in, something that you thought was unfair, unjust, it actually caused change in the country. So you should actually be thanked and congratulated as well for actually standing up for something important. I think it's an important lesson for the young people of today. If you believe in something, you should really stand up for it. Because only once you do and your voice is out there, can it actually make a difference. If you quiet and just go gently and quietly into the night and don't say a thing when you think something is not right and unfair, nothing is ever going to change.
The question in all of our minds, God, would you help us? God, would you please? So many people down on their knees. God, would you help us? God, would you please? So many people down on their knees. So much sorrow.
He doesn't want to go inside. Can't blame him.
I've just been locked in a cell, and it is probably smaller than me if I lie down. It's horrible. This is actually really tiny. I've never seen a cell this small in my whole entire life. I can't even stretch my legs. I mean, look at this. My legs are longer than the width of the cell. How is that even possible? It is so lonely in here. If I was ever locked in a cell, I'd die of loneliness.
Well, this is the flag I know. Questa è la bandiera che io so di Sudafrica.
Okay guys, you've just been through the Apartheid Museum. What are you thinking? How do you feel?
Well, I think it is definitely a beautiful museum because it reminds us of the past of South Africa, because when people think of South Africa, you don't really think of the past that much. And coming to this museum, I don't know, I've learned new things that I didn't know. I thought I knew a lot about the apartheid, but actually I didn't know that much about it. It's definitely nice because you learn about new people as well that you didn't know, because people think of the apartheid's only about Nelson Mandela, but it's actually not. There's actually the single little people, strangers, that did make a difference. They changed something, and yeah.
I thought it was really touching how just in a couple of years such a big change could happen.
Well, for me, how the whites and the blacks were separated and how the blacks were different, like in a sense, like how they were treated and that stuff. I didn't know how they were treated like that. It was so
it was a surprise for you to see how badly they were treated back then, hey Barney?
yeah.
So we've just finished going through the museum, and I'm not going to lie to you, it is pretty emotional. Some of those video films that we saw, inside the museum, some of it I remember as a child. Some bad things that happened. It just breaks my heart how people just hurt each other. I didn't want to get emotional, but it's sad. Why are people hurting each other all the time? Anyways, guys, I feel silly, but really, if you come to South Africa, come check this place out. I think it's a good place to start, because once you see how things were, you'll begin to understand how much things have changed. And it would be sad if we just, if nothing had changed and it all went to hell and there was still the segregation, but so much has changed.
Like a whisper floats on the breeze, I hear a voice saying to me, you are my hands, you are my feet, you bring the food that they will eat. You are my hands, you are my feet, you be the friend that they will need. You are my hands, you are my feet, you share the love that they all need for their sorrow, for their sorrow, for their sorrow. God, would you help us? God, would you please?